If you go on the way you started, you will be them.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another Darachat. My name is Daramouthe, or Dara for short, because some people still like to say Daramouthe, and I have to still correct them. I mean, it should be apparent by now. The E is silent. The E is silent. Come on.
Guilty.
I thought a 30-year-old would be over it by now. It's the worst thing in the world. When I used to do custodial work, I would have this sign that would be on the door to say "Do not enter" because being worked on. More times than not, there'd be someone like, "Hey, can I use this restroom?" It says the door it's closed. We're working on it. Can I still use this restroom? Sure. The sign means nothing. So it is what it is. But anyway, I am joined by the mysterious Enygma because that's just funny in its own right. We don't know who he is. We don't know what he's about, but he's here anyway, and that's the important part.
It's a puzzle wrapped in a mystery, wrapped in an enigma, is what it is.
Oh
Thanks
yeah,
for having
the
me. I greatly appreciate it.
not a problem. Yeah, thank you for coming on. That's the line from, what is it, Batman Forever, or which one is it? I swear I
Oh
thought it was
gosh.
one of, it's one with Jim
Uh,
Carrey.
well, that's where I got the name. Edward Nigma is
Edward
definitely where
Nygma.
I got the name from. It's the Riddler's. Well, there's several different Riddler origins, but the one from Batman Forever was Edward Nigma, and the one in Batman the Animated Series was Edward Nigma. So yeah.
Yeah. Now, see, for that movie, I could have seen Jim Carrey playing the part, sure. But for them to get Tommy Lee Jones in that and play the character he did, that was wild. All right. He was out there.
Well, according to Jim Carrey, Tommy Lee Jones couldn't stand him. He said like Tommy Lee Jones told him something like, "I cannot condone your buffoonery" or something like that. And I was like, that sounds exactly like something Tommy Lee Jones would say.
I'm just like, wait, because I mean, I get it, right? Like I think it was like the first ones were done by uh, Tim Burton, and then you
Mhm.
had and then I think like Joel Schumacher was the one who came into the other ones. I get it, right? Like the Schumacher ones are a bit like and everyone loves the Michael Keaton, and I think, was it Val Kilmer who was still under the Tim Burton? I can't
No,
remember. No.
Michael Keaton left when Tim Burton was shown the door.
Wow. Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
She's
he
a
was
beast.
supposed to be in a third one, but then they got rid of after Batman Returns, and it didn't do nearly as well as the original Batman. They said,
Yeah.
okay, maybe we shouldn't have given this guy complete creative control. So
Yeah.
they kind of booted him out, and then and Michael Keaton said, "Well, then I'm gone too." And then here comes
Wow.
Val Kilmer.
Wow. Yeah, it's the because I think for all its for all its I don't know what I would call that. For all its sort of, you know, pickiness or whatever for people do for like uh the later Batman movies. Not the Chris Nolan ones. Those are pretty good. Uh but more of like before then with the Joe Schumacher ones. I didn't hate them. Because I mean they were campy, they were cartoony, and if you were to ever watch the old cartoons, not the old cartoons, but like the Batman series, with Kevin Conroy and all that stuff, there was some campiness to it, while there was also some seriousness too. So I
Mhm.
kind of see it. I kind of don't hate it. Because I mean, where are you gonna get a movie where you see Arnold Schwarzenegger make so many ice puns? It's nice to see you.
Inside, chill out. Inside, chill, cool party. That's right. Uh,
Well,
the funny thing is that I think the Joel Schumacher ones are closer to the old Batman Adam West TV show back in the '60s than they are to what Tim Burton was doing. They tried to make it more comic booky, I think, and that's
yeah,
where the big disconnect was, is because Tim Burton, for better or for worse, he has a style,
yeah,
and
he does. Yeah,
that style is very easy to tell. And when it's no longer there, some of the fans are going to go, "Hey, wait a minute, this is
yeah,
not what I signed up for."
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
and
the X-Men movies, the 2000 X-Men movies, when they
yeah,
did the first two, they
yeah,
had one guy directing and the same guy's writing. The third one
yeah.
completely changed,
Yeah.
and everyone was like, "What is this? This is crappy. Get this out of my face."
I think it was Bryan Singer was the director for the first two, but I can't remember
Mhm.
what happened with the third one because that's when they explored the whole Dark Phoenix thing. But I mean, for me, you can't really. They set the X-Men look. I mean, we all appreciate Hugh Jackman being the Wolverine. He is the Wolverine. It's kind of hard to see someone else take that role. Storm is Halle Berry. Famke Johansson is Jean Grey.
Mhm.
Then you have what's his name who played Cyclops.
Oh,
Um,
that's I can see his name, Marston, James Marston.
James Marsden and Patrick Stewart, and all, even though Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen are like in their 90s now, so that's like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
well, wait, Doomsday's coming in. They're both in it.
Oh well, they might not make it past it. So there's a
Maybe
bummer
not.
there. That's the one thing is like, oh. Um, but yeah, it's sort of like, and the same thing with the Fantastic Four movies, right? With the one with uh um Jessica Alba,
Alba. Yeah.
um Eric Bana, and of course as per um Chris Evans, who actually wasn't a Marvel movie, but it was before he became Captain America. I think he played both parts well. He played both Johnny Storm and Captain America well. I know
Mhm.
he's not seen as like the best actor in the world, but he played those parts that he's known for. And obviously, I know a lot of people are kind of upset that once the contract had ended, like Infinity War, or no Endgame, sorry, people were not. They're kind of sad because I mean you there is a point where you play a character long enough that you kind of get typecast within that
Mhm.
character, right? Like I imagine Hugh Laurie playing House for as many seasons as he did was kind of tired of being typecast as an a sort of Sherlock Holmes sort of medical solver sort of thing.
You know how
Or
many people don't know that House is a allegory for Sherlock Holmes?
I have no idea. It's kind of funny because that's what I remember hearing when it first came out. I was like, it's an allegory for Sherlock Holmes. And it makes sense because if you've ever either listened to or read the stories, which there's so many ways to read them now. Um, the drug of choice for houses, I think it was Valium. I think it was Valium.
Something like that.
But for Sherlock Holmes, it was cocaine, and like a
No,
like
it's
a mixture.
opium.
No, it was cocaine was part of it. There was like a mixture of cocaine that would do, that he would partake. I think it was like 5 or 7% cocaine and a mixture of other things. But I mean, it's sort of in listening to the stories of Sherlock Holmes, and of course you can see like the Granada series is like on YouTube, and there's like a BBC audio series which I've been listening to that you could listen to, and of course then you had what was it? You had the Guy Ritchie ones. You had the Guy
Mhm.
Ritchie
With
movies.
RDJ, yeah.
Yeah. Which for me was all right, but they kind of I mean, there's a point of contention where you're taking the characters far beyond the scope of what they've been written as. And this is the funny part, right? Because this is something I didn't know and I've never researched too deep into, but look up on information of the Sherlock Holmes series. The creator, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, was like, I don't want to keep doing this anymore. right?
Mhm.
He was sort of after a certain point in time, he became adverse to his. Hey, Elwolf. Hey, have a good one. He sort of became uh, adverse to creating more Sherlock Holmes because it became such a monster to him, right? Like there was a point to where I think it was the final problem where he was trying to like get rid of himself of Sherlock Holmes,
Mhm.
kill Sherlock Holmes. And once he did, people were crying in the streets. People were having a like the funeral band, right? The black band that you'd have for a funeral. And they were just wailing and people were demanding he keep writing. And it's just like, gosh, and this is like the early like mid or late 1800s where one guy who created this thing because he was inspired by a friend who was a medical profession who I think it was Joseph. Who was it? What's the name? Joseph Campbell. Leave me 1 second. Nope. I need to look up the. There we go. Um, there we go. Uh, let's see. Fuck. There we go. Um, I think. Well, here's the wiki for it. I might just bring it up anyway. I'm trying to find the person who was based on. Because there was a person there was a doctoral person that he was inspired by. Joseph Bell, there we go. Real
Mhm.
life figure. Joseph Bell, a surgeon at the Royal Infirmary at Edinburgh, who 87 and had worked for as a clerk. Like Holmes, Bell was noted for drawing broad conclusions from minute observations. However, he later wrote to Conan Doyle, "You are yourself Sherlock Holmes, and well, you know it." Wow. That's pretty interesting. But yeah, he was inspired by Joseph Bell because he would take like the smallest pieces and deduce from them the individual what they had and stuff. So yeah. But yeah, it's funny how um oh there was another author too that was sort of like that. That was sort of their creation became sort of a monster to them and sort of kind of had to try to step away. And again, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle pretty much wrote until the end of his life of Sherlock
Mhm.
Holmes, which kind of sucks because he had other stuff he wanted to do. Um, and people can all, look for there's videos and stuff on this because I was listening to a video about this. But it sort of sucks that while in truth, because of Sherlock Holmes, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle will be immortalized, which many people would like to be, leave a legacy, all this stuff. It was
Plus,
a
he was knighted.
Yes, it's hence the Sir, right?
Mhm.
Dame Maggie Smith, Sir Patrick Stewart, Sir Paul McCartney. Those are the Sir and Dames are, uh, I guess, honorifics or whatever of status given by the Queen, which, to be honest, is no longer Queen; it's a King now, because it's King
I
Charles.
we have a mutual friend, Tomby, who's from the UK,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I asked him about it, and he said, "Dude, being knighted is like the ultimate flex in the UK. Like that's that if you are in somewhere, it's like when you have a doctor friend,
yeah,
even if they're not a medical doctor, they want to be called doctor. The
yeah.
same thing with sir and dame. If they're knighted, they want you to recognize the fact that they're knighted.
Yeah, which is interesting because I mean, it it is a title in its own right. Again, given by the queen, and like you said, it's sort of that notice. It's like that badge on your chest, like notice me now, right here,
Mhm.
which can be very ego stroking, which is not always a great idea. Um, but but to be knighted, and I think for the most part, the reason why he probably was knighted was because of Sherlock Holmes. So imagine this, right? You're somebody who writes a story and it becomes so popular that the only reason you'll ever be known is because of that one story. It
Well, it's kind of interesting that you were saying about how Chris Evans has been typecast. It depends on I guess it really depends on the talent of the person and what they want to do. Because Chris Evans has gotten out of doing, superhero stuff for the most part.
mm,
But has he really been in anything that you really know about? And then on the other hand, you've got like Robert Downey Jr. You've
yeah,
got we talk about Hugh Jackman.
yeah,
Hugh Jackman's done a ton of stuff outside of
yeah,
Wolverine. He's been Wolverine for 25 years, and he still has time to do his Les Mis and
Yeah.
Kate and Leopold and all the other stuff that he does. So
Yeah.
I think it
Well,
just depends on the talent and what people want to see him in.
yeah. Well, he did. He also did the Greatest Showman too. That was when he
Yeah.
did as well. Um, but yeah, it's just a defining factor because there were other movies that Chris Evans was in too, but those were before he became uh, Captain America. They were
Mhm.
after he became Johnny Storm, but they
Yeah.
were before he became Captain America. And and again, the typecasting is sort of like one hit wonders in music, right?
Hmm.
You remember the song "She Blinded Me with Science"? That's the
Hmm.
only song that guy is known for. The only song.
There's a
And
lot of those songs.
yeah, exactly. And but yeah, it's just and again for RDJ, he made that character. He
Hmm.
made because I actually remember we when the because it was before Disney had bought them, right? It was still Marvel Entertainment,
Hmm.
and it was in 2008, I believe. I remember going seeing the first Iron Man movie, and everyone just loved it. Everyone just loved it because it was so he had the character, right? What was the what was the line he said in the first Avengers to I think it was the Captain America. No, it was to Thor about being a playboy philanthropist or something like that. I can't remember.
Billionaire genius or
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
And he's just like he just does it with a straight face for that. And it's just like that's hilarious. Because it's basically what he is, except he's you know trying it's sort of like he's like Batman, except he's more a-holish.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
but then again, Batman himself could be a bit a-holish depending on the circumstance. So, yeah.
I remember when they announced it was going to be RDJ playing Tony Stark. I mean, everyone's got to remember that before Iron Man, he was not in the best place. He was not in the best. He was in his roles were nothing. He was making nothing. He had been in jail due to drugs and all of
Yep.
that. And so they bring him out that he's going to be Iron Man. And I went, well, isn't Tony Stark like an alcoholic? So that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And I mean, he knocked it out of the park. He totally did it. It resurrected his career, and look at him now. He's making millions upon millions of dollars. So good on him.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, and it's funny too because I think there's a video out there now where they did like a shoot test or something, or like they're rehearsing lines, whatever, and you could just see in that shoot test that is just right there, right? And again, like you said, he was in trouble with drugs and alcohol and that sort of thing beforehand. Because I know he did Charlie Chaplin, right? He did
Mhm.
that Charlie Chaplin movie, and he's done some other movies. But when it came to um, the first Iron Man movie, that was sort of the change directing for him because again, he was trying to get past, he was trying to get better from his alcoholic and drug days.
Mhm.
And so once he got to that movie, that just kind of set the tone. Now, again, I don't know if the second one, Iron Man movie, was made after or before Disney bought them, because Disney had bought the rights to them for a certain period of time. I can't remember.
I know that the original Iron Man and probably Iron Man 2 and the Incredible Hulk were all Universal Pictures. They
Okay.
did those movies, and when they were blowing up, and everybody knew they were blowing up, and everybody knew they were going to turn into this big, huge, freaking thing.
Yeah.
Marvel said, "How about we buy back the rights to this stuff and we do something with it? Because we have the rights to all these other characters."
Yeah.
And they bought the rights back to just about all of them except the Incredible Hulk, where they could use the Hulk, but they
Yeah.
couldn't make a Hulk movie. At least not at the time. They probably can now, which is just
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't contracts. I know something about contracts
Yeah.
with things, but I just can't imagine what these Hollywood contracts come up with. It's just
Yeah.
nuts.
Well, and the thing of it is, those. I mean, you had the TV show late, like in the '70s. Lou Ferrigno, all that, and
Hmm.
then, um, I'm not sure if there was one before, but the first Hulk movie I saw was the Ang Lee one,
Yeah,
right?
I saw that one.
Yeah, and of course, Lou Ferrigno did a little cameo spot there with Stan Lee, which is
Yep.
always funny.
He
Um,
did one in the Incredible Hulk too with Ed Norton.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
He
that.
was a security guard that Edward Norton wanted to get into the college,
Yeah.
and he brought in a pizza and said, "I'm trying to get up to the pizza." And the security guard was Lou Ferrigno, and he said, "Dude, I can't let you in."
Yeah.
And then he said, "Look, I got an extra pie here. I'll give it to you if you just let me, do this because I'll be fired." And he gave the pizza to Lou Ferrigno, and Ferrigno shook his hand and said, "God bless you, brother," and then or something like that, and
Yeah.
he went.
That's pretty
So
awesome.
that was the cameo there for Lou Ferrigno.
Yeah. No, that's pretty awesome because I mean, again, he was the Hulk, not Bruce Banner, because those are two
Right.
different. This was the '70s. There was no CGI. Um,
Technically, there was no Bruce Banner in that show either. It was David Banner. They changed his name. I'd always heard it was because they thought it sounded a little too gay. I hate to use that word, but that's what they thought it was. I think it's because they didn't want to get him confused with Bruce Wayne. Because
oh yeah,
they both have the same name,
yeah,
same first name. But yeah, he was. It definitely. I watched that show. I remember him hulking out and all that, and then Lou Ferrigno. And I've seen Lou Ferrigno in the last couple of years, the last probably 10 years at a comic convention. He still looks like $1,000,000.
yeah,
It's amazing how you know aging does things differently to people, and
yeah.
some folks just have that fountain of youth or whatever it is.
Mhm.
My first crush growing up was Linda Carter from Wonder Woman.
Oh
And you see her now, and she's in her 70s, and it's like she still looks like $1 bazillion. What the hell,
yeah.
How come? I hope I look that good when I'm 70 years old.
I don't know if you want to be wearing the Wonder Woman suit though. That's a little different.
No, I don't. I don't think so either.
Enigma, what? Why are you wearing that? Shh, shh, shh. It's almost time.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think my girlfriend would be like, "What the hell?
How do you look better in that than me?
Oh no, that would not happen."
Mr. Enigma, we gotta talk about how low your shorts are. Hey, you didn't do it with Linda Carter. You're not gonna do it with me.
Well,
It's
you
like,
got you have the hall pass, right? You got your hall pass with your significant other, where it's like, okay, if I have a shot
yeah,
with these people, I get the I get the hall pass for them, and Linda Carter's one of them. She was on the list, so I mean, go figure. But yeah, it's not like Linda Carter's going to show up on my doorstep tomorrow.
yeah. She don't. You try to meet. You try to. If you ever got to meet her in real life, it's behind security. Um,
Probably right.
Wonder Woman. Ah! Um, no, it's the same thing with like I mean, there's some celebrity women that look good even when they're old. I mean, you could tell, obviously. But I mean
Mhm.
like Julianne Moore is still looking. Susan Sarandon is still pretty good looking. Sigourney Weaver, sort of, but she's more. I don't know how to describe her. Her face is very sharp. Is the only word that comes to my mind when I see Sigourney Weaver. She looks very sharp.
Mhm.
And I don't know if that's the best way to describe it, but that's what I see whenever I look. Nothing against her, of course. Not like anything mean. It's just the way she looks, and of course, celebrities and plastic surgery and whatnot. But
Yeah, a
sometimes,
lot of them have that.
yeah. But some of them do kind of age gracefully to some degree. But the only one thing I'll speak out against for Julianne Moore is that majority of movies I've ever seen her in, it seems like she's always crying. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's a good thing or not.
I
Like
can't
if
remember the last time I saw her in a movie, but yeah, she does cry a lot.
yeah. Let's see. But yeah, I can understand that. I mean, you could go after some new ones too. Like I mean, of course, Scarlett Johansson looks great. I don't know if you remember, but Kate Bosworth. Kate Bosworth
Mhm.
was pretty good. Alice Eve. Now, the funny thing though, for those two, Kate Bosworth and Alice Eve, is that they have heterochromia, right? And if you know what heterochromia is, it's where you have two distinct, different colored irises.
Really,
Yeah,
I never
it's
even noticed it about them. I guess it's because I wasn't looking at their eyes.
the mystery of the man is now being revealed.
It's been a long time since I've seen them in anything, but yeah,
Yeah.
what was it? was it the Star Trek sequel, the J.J. Abrams Star Trek sequel that
Yeah,
Alice
that
Eve
was
was in,
Alice Eve. That was Alice Eve that was in that
and she
one.
was in her underwear, and it was like,
Oh yeah.
oh wow, okay, is that what we're
Underwear.
going with Star Trek now?
Yeah, underwear and bra. I'm trying to find a picture of Kate Bosworth to try to get that up because she does because it's her and Alice Eve. Oh, here we go. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, there we go. Trying to. Oh man, I can't even get it. Um, trying to get. Okay, all right. Um, here the page is good. Okay, so here's what I'm talking about. This is Kate Bosworth, of course, very lovely.
Hmm.
But let me get a little closer. Um, okay. Well, I guess it came closer, but you can see if you can. Oh, she married just long. But if you can see right there to the left, you can see that she has one eye that's blue, right? And she
Hmm.
has a one eye that's a little brownish. That's heterochromia right there.
I see. Very
That might,
Justin Long.
yeah.
Good for him.
Well,
Someone's out over their skis.
well, he had been with other people like, what's her name? Amanda Seyfried. Dated Amanda Seyfried, Drew Barrymore. That
Really?
was yeah. Drew Barrymore was an interesting one. But yeah, you can see right here she was born with sectoral heterochromia. Okay, meaning she has one hazel, and one blue eye,
Hmm.
which has become her trademark. Which I mean, don't to be honest, if you've got it, you should flaunt it, because
Exactly.
that's that's something you
Unique.
want to. Yeah, unique. Yeah.
Unique.
I'm going to look up Alice Eve. Try to make sure it's family friendly first. Um,
Family friendly.
friendly.
Has she been
Well,
doing things that we don't know about?
here we go. Oh, here we go. I think this is good enough. I'm trying to. I'll have to do. So, this is Alice Eve. This is as close as I could get, but you could see right here, right to the left, that she has one blue eye, and she has like a greenish hazel eye right there.
Hmm.
So she too has heterochromia. Now it kind of looks hard from a distance, but when you get close up, you can see that she has heterochromia as well. So it's very interesting in that regard, and it's also considered a mutation, as one would say. But this is the real deal right here, not like
Hmm.
CGI. Like there was one scene in like X-Men First Class where uh, Charles has some lady who has heterochromia in her eyes, but you could tell it's more CGI.
Mhm.
This is the real her and Kate Bosworth. Those are the real deal. That's just incredible. But yeah, that's heterochromia. Figured at least show so people could have a better understanding of what it is. Because again, it is a mutation of sorts, but it's not very much. Because there's full heterochromia, and then there's sectoral, where it's a small part of the eye or iris is a different color.
Hmm. I didn't know that. Let's
Yeah.
see. We learned something today.
And that, children, is how you grow.
Yes. The more you know. Dun, 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 dun.
I don't get paid enough for that. Um, but yeah, it's always you have those lovely ladies, um, and there's a few out there. But I mean, it's always that if you get to meet them, sort of thing, or whatever. Uh, but hall pass stuff, I'm not sure about. That'd be a different story. I did see that movie though, Hall
Yeah.
Pass.
Well, my girlfriend and I are very we know it's more of a joke between us that we have folks on the on our lists, and so when things come out, like I have a thing for Kate Beckinsale. I like Kate Beckinsale a lot.
Ooh.
So when something's on TV with her, she's like, "Oh, look, it's your girl, right?" Mm. And so she kind of needles me about that, and I'll kind of needle her about some things too, because she has a thing for Matt Bomer from White Collar.
Huh.
The only thing is that Matt Bomer is gay.
Oh, that's
so,
true.
so
Yeah.
she's like, what? Wow, I can't believe this. It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Well. And so again, we just laugh at it. It's nothing that's going
Yeah.
to be serious. So
Yeah.
it's nothing like that.
Yeah. Which it's always good to have something to laugh at, because I think there's another actor too, that I know of. I can't remember his name, but he was in the series Firefly, and he played the Doctor Tam, River's brother. I
Right.
can't remember what his name is, but he is actually gay in real life too. So there's that. And that's kind of funny though because because you just when you find out it's like, well, that sucks.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's like she's saying me like Matt Bomer in that in White Collar is like a total ladies man. He's like he's like MPH in How I Met Your Mother, and it's like, well, yeah, and they're just acting like they think we act. It's I can't explain it, but
Or
they're actors. It's almost like they're pretending to be somebody that they're really not.
exactly right. They're they dress well, they do all that stuff. Um, they have the ability to dress well anyway, but yeah, it's just one of those things where it's just nice to laugh at and all that stuff. But yeah, when you it's strange too because now that I'm thinking about it, there was another actor from I don't remember if remember the show True Blood,
Yeah, I
or ever
remember it.
heard of it. So the gentleman who plays a very old vampire from Kentucky or something, like he's the one that Scars the Alex Skarsgård's character fears a bit because he's like a older vampire. He's actually gay in real life too.
Hmm.
I'm trying to see if I can't uh, remember his name. So this is True Blood. Let's see. I can't remember. See, is season two? Because season two was where they had the criminy. Trying to hold on, I'll bring it up. So I think season two is where they had him come in. Travels to Dallas to join the Reverend. No, nope, not that. In Bond, Sam. Blah, blah, blah. Criminy. This is the thing about trying to go back and remember stuff.
Hmm.
Is Evan Rachel Wood was played a vampire in season two. That's interesting.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, but it was just like there was a gentleman who played in here. He was like a king vampire or somebody. I can't remember from where. And he in real life he was gay, but I think it was like when he was talking about trying to play a straight character, it was sort of like it wasn't a big deal, right? It's sort of like one of
Hmm.
those things where you're just an actor, you're playing a part. Hey, Tomby, how are you, good sir? Um,
Tommy.
but but yeah, that's always fascinating because nowadays you see this whole sort of jamboree of actors who like or people who are trying to act who say you can't play this character because you're not disabled or whatever, right? Like if
Hmm.
you're a deaf person, only a deaf person should play them. It's like okay, there's not really that many parts for them after that point anyway, so
Yeah.
you want to be careful.
Yeah, it's
But
almost like they're acting.
yeah. You weren't deaf this whole time? What the?
No.
I could hear you this
Uh,
whole time.
something that my girlfriend and I'll do is we'll be watching like a show or whatever, and some guy will come on and we'll go, "Oh yeah, he's gay," and say, "How do you know?" He's dressed too well. That's just all there is to it. I mean, if that was a straight man, that there's no way he would be on TV. Uh, yeah, he'd be wearing something comfortable. That guy, he's just dressed too well. There's just no way. So we,
He's
we do that from time to time. It's kind of funny. We love to make each other laugh. That's the
yeah,
great thing is we just try to entertain and
yeah,
poke the funny bone of each other.
yeah. Because I mean, if you can't have fun with each other, it sort of makes the relationship sort of like So what time's dinner?
Yeah,
You
yeah, yeah.
gotta be able to poke each other once in a while, but yeah, it's always fun to do. And but for you, like I remember, of course, your name is based upon the Enigma from Batman for me, but like I know you create content too, but uh what is your content creation sort of thing you do?
Well, I started out streaming games. I grew up with a game controller in my hand. I moved around 11 times or so before I graduated high school. So
Right.
the only consistency I had in my life was my video games. So
Right.
I have a whole crap ton of video games just around here, and I want to share my love of that with everybody else. So I started streaming during the pandemic. I didn't have a job, and my girlfriend was working from home, and I just looked at her one day and said, "What if I started streaming games?" And she looked at me right now and said, "Do it,
Yeah.
absolutely do it." And I was like, "Are you sure?" She goes, "Oh yeah. I mean, you people need to discover you. People need to see how much you love this stuff."
Yeah.
And so I've been doing that, and I did that full time for about a year or so, and then I got another job,
Oh.
and I left that position last year and went
Mm.
right back into streaming full time, and that's what I've been doing ever since.
Hmm.
And I've started creating new content as well, because on top of the games I have, I got a whole ton of memorabilia around here.
Yeah.
So every weekend I'll make a video about, oh, look at this action figure. Oh, look at this. Oh, look at the. I have like a set of Final Fantasy limited edition potions. I did one on where they
Oh.
were energy drinks, and they come in these fancy glass bottles and all that, and just all this stuff that I have, and I just like sharing that with people because I think it's cool. And if there's no preservation for things like that, if there's no record of it,
Yeah.
we're going to forget it, and everyone will forget it. So I think it's really cool to do that.
Yeah. It's sort of like those places that are trying to preserve like the video game code, right?
Mhm.
They're trying to preserve like the consoles and what stuff. There was actually someone I had on a long time ago. I was telling them about a hey kaiju. Thank you, good sir. There's a place in Texas. Stopping by to say yes. I know you're stopping by. Hey, say hello. I hope you're doing well, Miss Gina. Um, what was it? There was a place in Texas, code game. It was like a game museum in Texas. National Video Game Museum. Oh, okay. Frisco, Texas. Okay, here. Yeah, I got it. There we go. Oh, all right. Let me bring it up. Raid, yeah. What up?
Yeah,
Thank you, guys.
rated, awesome.
Hey, thank you, Kaiju. Thank you so much. Um, all right. Here is the Video Game Museum. This is in Frisco, Texas. Um, and what they do is they collect. So you see all this stuff right here. Actually, you know what? Let's start from the beginning with this. Um,
Toy, and it's definitely the hottest thing this Christmas.
so they're it's pretty interesting. Wow. So they have a whole assortment of. That's pretty interesting. They have a whole assortment of different consoles and stuff like that.
Yeah, I have every console that Nintendo, Sega, Sony, and Microsoft home consoles they've ever made.
Wow. Even Atari?
Nope, don't have Atari. I actually had an Atari 2600. That was my very first console
uh,
when I was a young kid, and I ended up giving it away to some neighbors because I had a Nintendo at that point and I didn't need it anymore, and they didn't have anything.
yeah.
I gave them my Atari and all my games, and
Mhm.
kind of wish I still had them.
Yeah. Because those are at this point they're all collectibles.
Hmm.
Uh, say wow. Yeah, I didn't. They when I saw last time they didn't have this video, but they basically have like even consoles that were more originated in Japan, like those ones.
Hmm.
Um, that's incredible. Um, won't do the whole thing. Wow, so even they look like they made an '80s room right there. That's insane.
Well, you know what? I'm 49 years old. At some point, I know I'm going to kick off. So I want to, when my time is gone, I kind of want to donate my game collection to a place just like that. So they
Yeah.
have copies of things, and they have things. So I don't know if I have anything that's like well, I got a couple things that are pretty rare, but I wouldn't
Wow.
like. I don't have like stadium events or anything
Mhm.
like that that's worth shit. If I had anything that was worth $20,000, $30,000, I'd sell it. But
Wow.
but I don't have anything worth that much money. But I have a lot of stuff, and I just weird stuff, and a
Uh,
lot of games, and I just love sharing my love of gaming with people. I really do. And there's
especially
there's this. Go ahead. Sorry.
no, especially since you have like those old PCs up there, right? Like you could see the one with Pac-Man and all that stuff, like that kind of old stuff. Because again, it's sort of the disappearing thing, right? Like things. I mean, I don't know if anyone's gone to dig up all the ETs before, but I'm sure they'll try. Um, but being able to have like these old computers right here that you see, and with the Oregon Trail, all that. We'll skip ahead. That is a lot of games right there. And television. Um, trying to Wow. It must be a big place. National Video Game Museum. Wow, it looks pretty well done too. They got Pong right there. It looks like I can't believe and they got consoles just lined up. I don't even know how you could do that because some of these games don't even have the ability to be like uh they just don't they're more the coax cable, I think, right? Like the old Atari or whatever.
Mhm.
And all that stuff. But yeah, I mean that's just incredible that they're able to put that many amount of. Oh, what's this? So yeah, old arcade games there too. That's incredible. And then what? Culture and preservation. I don't know. I want to hear about that, but oh, look at that. So yeah, all those kind of. So that looks like a PS3 right there. I
Yeah, and that
think.
looks like an Atari 7800, but I don't know if that's what that is, or 5600. Who
Wow.
knows? I'd have to go look at some of that stuff. I went to Nintendo New York, and they had every console like on display there that Nintendo's ever made, including their very first the Game and Watches and all that. And I just thought I took pictures of that whole thing because it was so cool.
Mhm.
And I don't remember what I bought there, but it was just I had to buy something at Nintendo New York while I was there because it was really cool to me. It was like this is a mecca for video games, and this looks like the same thing to me.
Yeah. It looks like they're working on a board and they have documentation and stuff like that. Holy crap. So, wow. So, you get the game, like a game thing right here Nintendo 64, PlayStation 1. Wow. And you have them all lined up like that. Um, that's incredible. Look at that. And so they have, those must be the boxes. Oh, okay. So those must be like the boxes of what the games would be in. Because some of those boxes would be like very artistic and all that stuff.
Oh yeah,
Um,
oh yeah.
and let's see, and look, you got all these different colored. You got the Nintendo 64. You got different dragons there. Goodness sake. Um, you've got Atari video games. Okay. Let's see what else I got. Trying to skip ahead a bit. Oh. Oh wow. Oh wow. Oh wow. So this must be the Atari because that has like the input pads.
The
Oh,
paddles. Oh, are those the ones That is. What are the controllers?
it
They
looks like
have the disc on them.
no, they have like a number pad on it. So that right there, they look like they press a number or something on it. But yeah, it looks like it's like a number pad or arrow pad or whatever. So I'm not sure if that's
I
yeah.
think that is. Was that the 5200? I know the AVGN did a thing on it where it's got the disc and the number pad and all that, and the controllers were hardwired into the console. I think
Mhm.
I can't remember if it's a 5200, 5600, or if it was the uh, 7800. But I know it might have been the 7800 now that I think about it. Anyway, Angry
Well,
Video Gamer did an episode on it. I do remember those controllers.
I'm pretty sure we'll see like a bit of them. Yeah, like the duck hunt and all that stuff. Um, and it's just amazing how they're able to clean up some of that stuff. Yeah. So this is another view of so they have a bunch of box or arcade. What are they? Arcade boxes or something like that? Just
Cabinets.
cabinets. Yeah, arcade cabinets, all that stuff. Um, interesting. Oh wow, that's huge. That's
Yeah,
the
I've got
biggest.
one, two, three arcade cabinets in here.
Wow. Now they're not. Are they like the newer versions of a arcade cabinet?
Yeah, they're the arcade one ups. I couldn't afford to get those other ones. There's no way.
Yeah.
But I know that pardon me. My parents many years ago, probably 5 years ago, gave me a Pac-Man one-up arcade wall mount
Mm,
machine,
mhm.
and I went, "Oh crap, this is awesome! I love it." And then I always said if I could own one arcade unit, it would be the original Ninja Turtles arcade because I loved that game growing up as a young man.
Yeah.
And of course, by the time that I got I realized that Arcade One Up was doing this, they were gone.
Yeah.
So I just kind of waited out and all that stuff. And basically, I had someone near me saying they were selling one. I want to say it was like $200. So I went and bought it, and I have it right over there. So I do have that.
Nice.
Yeah, and I've got Marvel versus Capcom right over there, and I have The
Ooh.
Simpsons right over there. So
Oh yeah, The Simpsons. Yeah, because when I was a kid, you would see those ones in like Chuck E. Cheese or whatever to play. So there's that one, the Ninja Turtle one, and the not the Capcom one though. That was a bit. That's I haven't seen that one. I've seen it out in the wild, but it's very rare to see it. Um, looks like they're fixing pieces. Oh wow, that's insane. They update bits and pieces. They update the coding. Wow. Or try to save it
floppy
or
disk.
something like that. Yeah, floppy disk. That's when you know it's old technology right there. When you see a floppy disk. Uh, Tommy Tallarico. I don't know who Tommy Tallarico is.
He is a composer for video games. He did the soundtrack for like Earthworm Jim, I believe, things like that. So he's pretty well known in the space. So he's the one who's like the head guy of that museum. It wouldn't surprise me if he was. He loves gaming.
Uh, yeah. I didn't remember what their names are to be honest. Um, store closing. Wow. Whoa, a brown box prototype. Interesting.
Yeah, that's old. The
Yeah.
oldest thing I have is my girlfriend gave me a Magnavox Odyssey
Mm,
a couple years ago for Christmas. So that's the oldest thing that I own. Oldest, not the oldest thing I've ever had, but I mean
yeah.
that I own myself. But it is the oldest piece of hardware I've ever had, and it is an original one because it doesn't have the right hookups for it.
Yeah. It's insane. Um, wow. Vectrex. I think is yeah, Vectrex.
Vectrix, I remember the Vectrix. That was the one that had its own screen. Yep, there it is, right there.
Yeah.
Vectrix graphics are like wireframe graphics. So if you've
Yeah.
ever played like the original Star Wars arcade
Yeah.
or Empire Strikes Back arcade,
Mm.
that's Vectrix style graphics, and that's a Vectrix right there.
Oh. Yeah, because this would be sort of like the Tron sort of thing right here.
Yeah,
That's sort of the Tron look. Um, Vectrex. Um, wow. Oh, Game Boy 1989.
yeah.
Game
Those
Boy
are Game
Color.
Boy Pockets, I think. Game Boy Color.
Game
There's
Boy
the
Printer.
printer. Yeah,
Oh
the Game
yeah.
Boy printer. Remember that?
Game
And the
Boy Camera.
camera.
Oh yeah. Oops. What were those? Oop. Oh. Oh, I guess I can't. There we go. So you get the Game Boy printer. Um, and you got the I don't know what those are.
One looked like a Sega controller, but
40,
that's
41.
Sega? No.
UKO it says.
Hmm. I don't know what those are. That looks like a boomerang.
Yeah. You got the gold. Oh, look, the gold Nintendo 64 right there. That's
Oh, I
pretty.
wish I had a gold one. I don't have a gold one. I have the original, gray one that I got when it was brand new. I got, when it first came out. That's the one I have. But damn, I wish I had a gold one. Every once in a while, Nintendo does that to me, where they'll do a Zelda themed something or another, and I just go, "Hot damn, I wish I had that." And sometimes I end up getting it. So
Yeah.
I know, like last year when they launched, what was it, Tears of the Kingdom, I think it was, or maybe it was something else. They released a gold
Yeah.
Zelda uh, Switch Lite, and I ended up getting it, and it's up there on my shelf right now. I've never even opened it. It's just right up there. I just think it's the coolest thing.
It's
But that's just me.
a limited edition, so to speak, I guess.
Hmm.
Okay, so it looks like design. Wow. So they even keep the floppy disk of the games as well. And so they also made like a room of the 80s like television boombox, all that stuff over there. That's pretty cool.
Absolutely. That might be
Odyssey.
a place I look at. That's an Odyssey, but it's not the one I have is not that one. I have to look at see which one I've got. But maybe it's the kind of place I should leave my stuff to when it's all said and done. I told my girlfriend, if I pass before she does, I want to have my collection curated and then donate it to a museum like that, because I think that would be the best place for it, as opposed to uh, selling it and then donating it to a college or something like that. I really want. I fear, especially with the loss of physical media now. I mean, I realize I'm a dinosaur,
Yeah.
basically fighting the comet at this point. I really back up physical media. I want physical media. That's my thing. And I know that with PC going all digital and now the console games all want to go digital, that I'm, like I said, I'm a dinosaur. I know it's coming, but I think that people need to see this stuff. I think this stuff needs to be preserved because it's history, and some of this stuff, like especially the licensed things, like your Spider-Man games and things like that.
Yeah.
Where you're going to find those? It's if you Spider-Man Web of Shadows on the Xbox and PlayStation, a great game. Activision doesn't have the rights to it anymore, so you can't find it anywhere except if you find it at a used store or a pawn shop or something. Games like that need to be preserved. They need to have people see them, and that's what I want to do with this stuff when my time comes. That's what I want to do.
Yeah, what was it? Yeah, because there's one place I know. There's a place called GOG or GOG where they have been trying to, or they've been bringing back old games, but they have been leaving them DRM free, so that if you buy it, you own it, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you got a question here for you.
Oh, for me?
He's asking you a question up there.
On the Intellivision, what side was he on in the Intellivision Amico? By honestly speaking, I was not on any side at that point. I was a young kid. I had an Atari 2600, and the gaming crash happened, and I had my Atari 2600 up until the NES came out.
Wow. Yeah, that's again, gaming has changed over since the early 70s, I would say.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I like I said, I was born in 1976, so the Atari 2600 I think came out the year after. So it hit me my parents right in the face. And my dad, basically, he still plays games. My dad calls me and asks me what I think of games because he wants to buy. Should I buy this game? Well, do you?
Yeah.
Well, there was a point in time I used to live with them. And of course, I had this huge collection. And he came to me one day and said, "I need something to play." And I said, "Yeah, well, there's a game room down there full of 1,000 games." And he goes, "Yeah, but which ones should I play?" I said, "I don't know. Go down and pick one." And he goes, "But what if I don't like it?" And I said, "Then you take it out and you put in another one. You find one that you like."
Oh, that's too funny. NVM 2.0. Oh, okay. Oh, wow. They did some pretty nice. Ooh, wow.
That looks like a SNES controller almost, but it's not because it doesn't have any of the logos on it.
It's probably just like that Pong version right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. National Video Game Museum. It's incredible what they're doing with it, at least.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. I really do. I think this is the kind of thing that, look at that. It looks like an old game store.
Oh, yeah. Some of these I don't even recognize, to be honest. Like a gold Mario over there. I think those like metal plates are advertising something for different games, like Miss Pac-Man and all that stuff.
You can find stuff like that online and all over the place. The metal plates. There's a place probably about a half hour from where I live that has metal plates advertising all sorts of things. I don't know if they're not vintage; they're brand new, but those are probably vintage if they're displaying them in there.
Yeah.
Oh, Burger Time. Burger Time.
Yeah, 1982.
Mm-hmm.
Way before
Hard-ass game.
Oh, I believe it. That's incredible. Let's see. Street Fighter 2. Oh, Street Fighter 2. Goodness sake, that's a bit old
Yeah,
right there.
that's is that Championship Edition, I think.
It says Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition. Yes.
I could tell from the logo. I can't see it says Champion Edition, but it looked like it. So, yeah, I played Street Fighter 2 in arcades. My parents used to bowl like 4 nights a week. So they would take my brother and I up to the bowling center
Mhm.
and give us $1 and say, "Go play," and go play in the arcade. Well, $1 didn't get you very far in an arcade. Now it certainly doesn't. But back then, everything was a quarter. So that's
Yeah.
like 4 games. They were bowling for 3-4 hours. That's not how it works. So, but I would play Street Fighter 2, and people would challenge me, and I would beat the pants off of them and make it last.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is that I thought I was pretty good at Street Fighter, and then, gosh, it was probably like 1999. I ended up going to Los Angeles to visit some friends, and they took me to this Japanese arcade, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
And they had this huge Marvel versus Capcom machine.
Uh-huh.
So I put in a quarter, and I'm just playing it and having fun.
Yeah.
And up walks this kid. It couldn't be any older than 8 years old. Puts in a quarter and just beats the pants off of me like I had never touched a joystick before in my life.
Wow.
And all I could do is just kind of pat him on the back and say, "Good game, kid," and just walk off. So I'm by no means a great Street Fighter player, but for that little arcade and that little bowling center for a couple of years, I was pretty damn good.
Sort of reminds me of the stories where you hear people who play COD, and you have these like 10 or 11-year-olds who join that sort of game, and they just you just curse up a storm or whatever. I wonder what this is. Oh wow! Also, that's their wow.
Their expansion, I guess.
Yeah, of what they want to do. I wonder how much it is for a ticket though, because a theater, so they want to do a theater as well. That's interesting.
Looks like for e-gaming, esports, or whatever. That'd be cool. Yeah.
Possibly. All right, and then they have different. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I mean, for it to still be thriving, I got Cloak and Dagger right there,
Mhm.
Missile Commander. Then you got some box games like Dreamcast and all that stuff over there. Oh wow,
There's Master Chief.
that's right.
A friend of mine has one of those statues. Actually, I did a stint for 10 years. I'm a 15-year industry veteran in retail of video games,
Wow.
and a friend of mine that got me hired at the evil empire that is based out of Texas, I don't talk about. He loved the Xbox, loves the Xbox to this day,
Yeah.
as far as I know. And his store was one of the top in the entire company in Halo 2 reservations, and Microsoft gave him one of those statues of Master Chief with the 2 Uzis. It's Halo 2, actually.
Uh-huh.
And when he left that store, he took that statue with him. I don't know how the hell he got it out of there, but he took it. He still has it today.
Dead of Night. Oh, this looks like they have the different VR headsets right here.
Mm-hmm.
Which some of those look like it's old as heck.
One of these days I'll try VR. I don't know. I'm still I watch like ridiculousness and watch enough people ram into walls and break their television sets that I'm like, I don't know if I really want to do that.
Even got the Game Boy here. Testament to the Magic. Industry to support. Oh, so they probably get some help from parts of the industry. Atari, all those ones.
They should preservation of it. The funny thing is that something that I've noticed a lot of these days is the online trolls come
Yeah.
after people that are over 30 for playing games.
Yeah.
They're like, "Oh, you're still over 30 and you play games? You must be stupid. You must be, immature. You must be dumb." And it's like, no, dude, you do realize that if it wasn't for people like me, there would be no video games right now, right?
Yeah.
I'm one of the people who supported the frickin' industry after the crash. I was one of the ones who supported the frickin' industry after, everything.
Mm.
And own a Nintendo and still own it and still buy games to this day. There would be no gaming industry if it wasn't for gamers over 30. I'm sorry. My dad is 70 and he plays games. So, go after him. See what you think of that. see what he tells you.
Thank goodness. And then you have some of the controllers right here: Xbox, Sega Saturn, Sega Genesis, the GUD.
That Sega Saturn controller there is the Knights controller. What happened is that when they released the game Knights on the Sega Saturn, they did not have one that had the stick on it. You see how they have that joystick up there?
Yeah.
That was for to play Knights. So when they released the game Knights, they released that controller with it. I think there was a version that came with it too. It's a very comfortable controller. I actually really like it.
Yes.
Saturn is criminally underrated. I love my Sega Saturn.
Yeah. Unfortunately, where Sega once was ahead and said Sega Genesis does what Nintendo don't.
Yeah, I remember that. Yep.
Looks like that got changed around to Nintendo does what Sega can't. And that got proven true after a while, unfortunately. But yeah, definitely the coding factor of gaming is a big one, because games in themselves, the coding for some of those old games are not, they're getting older, especially like those old cabinet ones where they're stored as well. Getting old and all that sort of stuff. So you have to kind of transfer them over to something that'll hold them or not. But at the end of the day, though, at least people out there trying to preserve, even if it's still on their original set piece or the original cassette or whatever it is, because at the end of the day, it can easily go as it easily came. Is how it can be, especially when majority of those parts have a bit of gold in them and all sorts of other things, and just stripped away for all that stuff. So basically,
If the crash taught us anything in the 80s, it's like it can bottom out in a heartbeat.
Yep.
And that's kind of what concerns me right now with the industry as it is that I kind of feel like we're in for a reset right now. Games are getting way too expensive. Game consoles are getting more expensive.
Yeah.
I know that like Microsoft boosted the cost of their consoles today, which just kills me because technology prices go down, not up.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to be in for kind of a hard reset because a lot of these legacy publishers and legacy developers are being bought up by the big three, or being bought up by other companies, and they're wanting to put $100 price tags on games, which they're welcome to do. But the problem is that no one's, the fewer people are going to buy games if it's $100 a pop.
Yeah.
So you're like, well, this is the only way we can make it if we sell this many games at $100. Well, the problem is you might as well cut that number down by but a third at least, just simply because they're too unaffordable. Yeah. So I think, but the nice thing is that there's a whole army of independent gaming developers out there that are cutting their teeth on what they're doing, and they're making good quality stuff. And if I know anything about how the industry works, is that once someone leaves, there's going to be someone else to take their place. So that's going to be the great thing about it, is that we're going to start seeing some of these legacy studios go away because they're horrible with what they're doing. And we're going to have other companies rise up, smaller companies rise up and become bigger because of it. Yeah.
It's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens. But anyway, before we go any further, it is the top of the hour. And so what happens is that I set aside some time for us to promote ourselves. I did put, let me give one check. I did put, your link, your all links thing is down below. But if you would like to sell yourself, as the kids would say, not like that though. The floor, look, he's not doing it like that, okay?
Trust me. I'm going to start an OnlyFans where people have to pay me to keep my clothes on. That's what I'm going to do.
I'll give you $1 for that one. But anyway, if you want to promote yourself, the floor is yours.
Well, guys, I stream 5 days a week. You can find me on just about everywhere at Evil Enygma, EVILENYGMA. I'm on Twitch, Twitter. I'm on Kick, but I don't stream on Kick anymore because it's kind of odd. I'm on Rumble. I'm on YouTube, Evil Enygma. I stream 5 days a week, 7 hours a day. Right now I'm playing. I just started Lunar Remastered today. Had a great time doing that. I make on the weekends. I make original content. Last weekend I did a video about a lightning action figure from Final Fantasy 13-2 that I've got up there, which is gorgeous. And I don't know what I'm doing this weekend yet because I haven't thought about it. But I'm trying to get to 500 YouTube subs by the end of the year. That would be great. And I do plan on streaming on Rumble. It's a little different to streaming
Yeah.
on Rumble than it is everywhere else. So I'm kind of trying to learn the ropes on that. And as Tommy tells me, you need to get off Twitch anyway, but that's the only place I'm monetized. So
Yeah. Well, yeah, definitely, because obviously through other platforms you have to walk through their hoops. You basically have to earn the right to be monetized. Where that's understandable, but YouTube has its stories about all the things that happen to creators. Not all of them, but to a big chunk of them.
a
And
lot of them go through a lot of crap. I try to stay above all that, though.
yeah,
I'm not a rage baiter. I'm not. I'll go on little tangents and jump on my soapbox when I'm streaming
yeah,
about the state of the industry and what I think of this and what I think of that.
mm,
But I don't go on these rage bait things where I start just ranting and raving for no reason and all that. So it's that's just me. I try to keep my stuff kind of above board,
yeah.
and it's
Well,
that's just how I am.
well, it's not only that, but it's also just in the way how YouTube treats some of its creators.
Oh yeah.
And the draconian rules that they have. And I've heard stories of Twitch too, but usually it's neither here nor there. But
Oh, Twitch is hilarious. Twitch does everything they can to coddle a certain kind of creator, and then when it goes a bit further than what they intended,
yeah,
they have to roll it back.
yeah,
I can tell you that was it 2 years ago? I think it was that Twitch decided they were going to allow artistic nudity
yeah. I remember that. Yep.
on their platform because they were trying to, get that. They know that the OF audience, the OF is getting a whole lot of money, and Twitch wants some of that money. Basically, is what they were trying to do.
Yeah,
So they said, "Oh, artistic nudity is fine." And then some guy goes on Twitter or on Twitch and pulls down his pants and puts googly eyes on his thing and goes, "It's artistic nudity."
yeah.
And a week later, they rolled that back. I was like, "Oh, that's not what we wanted. No, you can't do that."
I don't think it was even a week. I think it was 24 hours after the fact.
It might have been 24 hours. All I know
Yeah.
is I just remember that the dude did that on his junk with googly eyes, and I was like, Jesus Christ. Okay, well, I guess that's artistic, and Twitch didn't see it that way.
Well, and that's the same issue with YouTube, because if you were to go on YouTube right now, you could look up naked yoga and you'll find it.
Oh yeah.
Right? All you have to do is type in those words naked. I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying you type in those words, you will find what you're looking for, because that's artistic nudity. So, but it's not promoted very much by YouTube. So, but it's there. So, in essence of, you could Twitch could be like, we're not gonna whatever, but you could still look for it and you'll find it there, and nothing's done about it. Especially when people do maybe even not even close to that, like anything like that, and they get their channel demonetized, or they get their channel pretty much uprooted because of some simple weird thing that's not very clear. The vaguer you could keep your rules, the better it is that you could get rid of people, because it's like, well, we get to decide whether you get to say or not because of these rules. And I know that sort of falls in line with all the monetization stuff. But yeah, definitely definitely the R18 stuff's not for Rumble, but I mean, they're not as very harsh as you would say for how YouTube treats its people for things that are somewhat not, but lenient is what I should say. Lenient.
Yeah, yeah. The problem with YouTube is that they are. I mean, let's just face it. YouTube is the high horse right now. They're the top of the chain when it comes to video content. There's no doubt about that. It's not even close.
Yeah.
And so that means they are beholden to advertising dollars and things like that. And just guess what? A lot of their advertising dollars comes from people who have channels. On or companies that have channels on there. So if one of these companies that has a channel says, "We don't like that guy over there, you need to do something about it," and they go, "Cool." So it's really kind of bananas, and it's just, but that's how YouTube is.
Yeah,
well, you almost too, for that matter.
Yeah, when you said it like that, you almost sounded like Jeff Bridges from The Dude. Cool.
Yeah.
Just like I think I had to do it on my show for a while there. But anyway,
That's right,
again,
dude. That's right.
yeah, and again, his link is all his links are in the one all my link thing down below, whether on the Rumble or YouTube side, because I do stream to both. But anyway, whether you're on either Rumble or YouTube, if you wouldn't mind leaving a like, sharing the content, leaving a comment or follow, anything that helps with the engagement factor is much appreciated. Because at the end of the day, not only does it help being seen more, like all content creators want to be, it also helps having other people on, like the Enygma, or like Mom's Mysteries, or Gina, or Kaiju, or Tomby himself. So many people. I've had on over 200 various guests, and I'm going on and up. It's always a pleasure. And again, content creators, non-content creators, I've had just about everyone at this point, except the president. That's not one that's on the list. Um,
Which one? Which one?
Let me choose from the wide array of history.
You know, if you try hard enough, I'll come on your channel and we'll talk about dresses and we'll talk about cigars.
If you have a secretary that I can
That's
talk
right.
to, yes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Oh God, yeah. And I'm honored to be one of them. Thank you for inviting me on. I really do appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for coming on. Yeah, and
No
also,
problem.
Karis, I have a link down below as well. It's a Linktree link. You go down there, you find like my Twitter X, you find like email. I also have, like, a Discord thing, but it's mostly just for DMing, because um, I know a lot of content creators. They run a bunch of different stuff. Look, I only have so much mental bandwidth, especially since I have a full time job. So you do what you can handle. Don't worry about trying to do all these things. If you're creating content and having fun with it, great. If you're creating content and not having fun with it, you might want to rethink your stuff, because that's where trouble can happen. Um,
Exactly. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to become monetized on things, but that shouldn't be your primary source.
yeah.
Your primary reason for doing it. Your primary reason for doing it is because you love it and you have fun doing it.
Yeah, and the thing of it is that's also kind of leads into, of course, um, that's again engagement and the link down below. I appreciate you all. Almost forgot that. But that kind of leads into, um, man, I had it. It was right there, Maria. um, it's sort of, the monetization thing and all the stuff. You're right. That shouldn't be the thing, but it also kind of leads into that aspect of, why do people create? Right? Is it because of the monetization, or or is that considered a bonus? Sorry, seasonal allergy stuff. Um,
Mhm.
because for me, when I started doing this thing, I really was kind of in the rut of, should I or shouldn't I do it, right? Just whatever, right? To see what I could do. And then, I had like a Samsung, not a Samsung, but a Samsung, like a little ball mic, and then like a very non autofocus camera and all that stuff.
Mhm.
And I just did like this sort of I played games. I was actually uh I did like a Starfield one, and I did like a Minecraft mod pack one, which I enjoy. But the point of the matter was is that it really wasn't something that I um, enjoyed doing, and that was the streaming part. I did at one point beforehand upload videos, record and upload videos unedited, because I'm not that kind of person. Um, but I couldn't stream at the time, and then when I could stream, I did streaming game and whatnot. But it was really something that didn't hit very well, and so then I get into this conversational thing, and then I'm like, okay, so there's something there. But I know it's not like the most watchable thing, because you know how it goes. It feels like, for a big chunk of content creation, yes, there are a lot of things to talk about that you could have your opinion on or perspective on, whatever. But it does kind of feel like that a majority of it is a 24/7 news sort of thing, right?
Mhm.
Like, say something comes out for like Ubisoft or Hollywood or whatever, majority of the time you have a ton of creators talk on the same sort of thing when it happens, which is fine, right? I'm not here to tell you how to create content. Don't
Mhm.
listen to me how to create content. But it does feel like the 24/7 news channel news thing is kind of moving into that sort of sphere of, um the content creation thing, because what changes much beyond the scope of all you're hearing at a different point is just someone's different perspective,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, I mean, you could go to Twitch, obviously you could go to YouTube and all this sort of stuff, and you're gonna see a lot of people do a certain thing, whether it be gaming, whether it be politics, whether it be I don't know, naked yoga. Don't do that. Don't look for at least a 91. It's not gonna work. But it's just like Lisa. Now, what was that name again? Hold on.
Mm.
But it's just even people I was following, I still follow when watching them and all this stuff. It sort of just felt like there wasn't enough of just conversing about whatever going on, because usually a lot of shows, nothing against, a lot of shows start with a topic because um, sometimes there's somebody who doesn't really know how to speak well, or just there's a bunch of different reasons, right? Just naming a few. But there pretty much a big chunk of content creation starts with a topic at the center of it. I don't start anywhere. I mean, I'm like the Julie Andrews on the top of the hill in Sounds of Music, except I can't sing as good as her, so don't ask. The hills are alive. Yeah, you can see how well that's gonna go. But it was sort of like when I watch other content creators, like, you have a lot of people who have thousands upon thousands of followers, and I've never seen, and it is a risk. It is a risk, but I've never really seen them bring on people who are not um within their like field of like friends they've made, or people they met along the way, that because usually, and this is just from my experience, usually you'll see people who will either um grab people who are with have people on as guests as either within their niche field, or they'll be someone who's to bring up their status in a sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Name or whatever. And for me, it's just like you have a lot of these people who content creators who have the thousands of followers, and you never really see them bring on any of those people per se. And again, there's a risk to it, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But just imagine if you're someone who has like 10K followers, right? Wouldn't it be interesting if you could reach out to just even a quarter of that, right? Like, not reach out, say hello, and watch my show. No, reach out and say, would you like to come on my show? And I never really saw that. I never really saw someone just say, hey, you in the chat, would you like to come on? Now, there are some people who do it now. They do like call-ins or whatever. Um, but I'm more of talking like one-on-one, because when you get too many people on screen, it can get very chaotic, and sometimes
Mm-hmm.
the conversation gets lost. But I didn't really see that much, and so that's where Darachat came in, because one was because one was because everyone puts cast or podcast at the end of their thing, and I'm like, okay, yeah, it is a podcast, but I don't want to do that. Like Daracast or whatever. I was like, what else can I do with that word wise, right? So what, cast, talk, whatever. And then I came up with chat, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
came up, with chat. And that was their chat, because Daramouthe, Dara, all this stuff. And so that's kind of where that came from. But then again, it was like, I not could only have people who are considered content creators, but I could have one of their followers on as well. And I've
Mm-hmm.
done that a few times. Tomby that you know of. Like, I've had Jack Tarlad, I've had Yarnwich, I've had Hanayama-sama, I've had Abe, I've had Kadath, or Kadath Gaming. I've had oh, what's another one that he has? And a few others. It's this thing that um, not everyone I reach out to again is a creator, but just imagine the people you could, not only when you get that person, but you get the people surrounding them too, and so forth and so on. It's it's incredible. It's
Mm-hmm.
incredible where you could kind of reach for that, and that itself lends to me not being limited to, say, creators, which a lot of people do, or creators, or something of that nature. And again, create content how you want, the way you want. This should be about how you want to do things. I'm giving you my perspective of what I've seen and why I do what I do, because there are two there are too many people in this world, at least in the English speaking side, because my language skills are not that good. No
Same.
comprende.
I took 4 years of high school French, and all I remember is "Est-ce que je peux aller aux toilettes," which is "May I please go to the bathroom?"
All I know is omelette du fromage. But
They're all from my big cheese.
or and it's a funny thing with the language that Americans usually take like bits and pieces of a language, like s'il vous plaît, or oui oui, because that's always a funny one with French, oui oui, and or Hispanic like hola, some of the stuff like that. In Japanese like konnichiwa, all that stuff. There's a lot of different languages out there that get their bits and pieces in America, and people kind of do it well, but sometimes they say it wrong. So there's that.
Yeah.
But it was just when I tell you that I have had over 200 various guests. I tell you on the basis of it's their first time coming on, right? I count their first time coming on, and then they have their own counter after. So it's like individual, total counter, and then individual counter at that point. Um, but it's not an easy thing. It's a challenging thing because of scheduling and whatnot. Um, but for me to say I've had on over 200 guests, and that's not like a bragging number. It's sort of like saying, look, here, I have proven with over 200 different people of 200 various backgrounds, VTubers and former current military, all sorts of stuff, that it can be done. And for other content creators to reach that kind of amount, they have to take like a year or so with the guests they bring on. And I'm just like, how is this a miss? This is like free money laying on the ground. It's like pennies on the ground. I don't understand. I don't understand it.
No, it's I think we've become so hyper polarized in a lot of ways, especially here in the States. I mean, I'm sure you all you got to do is walk outside and you'll see people
Yeah.
going nuts over one thing or another. And so we tend to stay in our own tribes. We tend to stay in our
Yeah.
own circles because we know that if we say something off color
Mm,
to our friends, people that we know, that
yeah.
it's not going to be that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But if you say something, to someone, you interviewing somebody, you might say something off the cuff, and they go, "Hey, wait a minute,"
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden it's no longer a polite exchange, and it's this, that, or the other. And a lot of young people have this problem with if you don't believe what I believe, you're a bad
Mm,
person.
yeah.
And if you don't like this TV show, you're a bad person. If you don't
Mm,
like this movie, you're a bad person.
mhm.
And for me, it's like I just I'm way too old to really give a rat's patootie what anybody thinks of anything. I know if I like something, I like it. If I
Yeah.
don't, I don't. And if someone else disagrees with me, they did. People can disagree with me all day long. I don't
Yeah.
worry about it
Yeah.
because that's what makes us unique. Not
Mm,
everyone is the same. If everybody was the same, it
would
would
be
be
no.
very boring.
Yeah. Would be unique.
Yes.
Um, but it also kind of talking to various people also kind of gets one out of their own bias in the sense of, um, you talk to people who you can I've there have been people I disagree with, sure, but it's not ended up in like a screaming match because that's not the point of why you have a conversation with someone. We could both be right, we could both be wrong, but at the end of the day, we still get to walk away from each other having shaked each other's hand.
Hmm.
And that's been the that's been the most strangest thing for me. Is like for me, not knowing what I wanted to do with this, starting out with just doing gaming and streaming and stuff, and then coming to the understanding is like, why why does it seem like such a difficulty for a big chunk of people to do? Because there's all sorts of stuff to talk about. There's no one thing. You know, we started with talking about
Yeah.
Batman, and we
Yeah.
we ended up here now.
That's right. We started talking about Batman and women. Well,
Yeah,
the thing is that if you and I sat down and we wrote down the top 100 things, if they asked us the same opinionated questions of 100 things or 50 things or whatever, and we both answered them, chances are we're going to come back with a couple of things we disagree about,
yeah,
and that's fine. There's that's what makes you unique. I don't like mayonnaise. Does that make me weird? Maybe there's people who love mayonnaise. I don't know, but it's not important to me to really get onto somebody because they happen to like mayonnaise and I don't. And I think that's something that we need to do. And I agree with you. Breaking down walls and having conversations is a great thing, and still being able to shake hands afterwards, which we used to be able to do. But the funny thing is that now that we have social media like it is, and we have access to everybody almost everywhere, we're more tribalistic than we were before the internet. You know, we were much more tolerant of other people's views when we didn't have social media.
Yeah, because
It's odd, very odd.
And you get to see things in a real quicker time on social media because so here's a few things I've learned in the content creator sphere. One is that it doesn't seem like you can get away too much from the drama spiel or other spiel or whatever, because it feels like there are misunderstandings, right? You could say something and someone could misunderstand or whatever, but there have been many times where I've seen these other content creators and it just becomes a smorgasbord of destruction, and I don't get it. Like, if I'm on my own personal scale, some people I've had on as guests, a very few, have blocked me, and there's no way for me to make a recompense or whatever if there's no conversation. I'm not even online, just like in private. It's like, okay, so what is it that that you had an issue with? And I don't get that. It's like you would think that these people who consider themselves adult would be able to say, okay, you said this thing, I didn't really like it, and then we could have a conversation. But sometimes they don't say anything at all, and then you just block, and you're just like, what is this? I'm open to sit down with you about if there's something I said or whatever and try to talk through and maybe clear something up. But when you block the ability to even have the either apologize or just to clear up a misunderstanding, it shuts down doors, and I'm just like, I'm not doing this thing because I give a rat's behind about there is a political nature to the content creation. I'm sorry to tell you, kids, there is a political, but I don't give a rat's behind because kids, I want to tell you something that's going to be real hard to understand, but it's real simple after it. You and I have a very limited time, and your arguments, the worthless ones anyway, there are arguments to be had, sure, the important ones, but the worthless ones, the ones about a company or some gaming system or some stupid thing a politician. Guess what I'm going to tell you? Sooner or later, you or I are going to be 6 feet under dust in the wind. At that point, will those arguments really matter? Will the arguments of I was right about so and so and so and so will be right? I mean, you could enjoy your life and being right, but I'm going to tell you right now, you'll also be miserable too, because if you find out you're right, guess what that means? Not everything is, not everything, oh, what is it? Not everything is golden, shiny when you're right. You have a job where, they're going to be doing layoffs, and now that you found out you're right, you got to start looking for another job.
I look at it from the sense of if you're perpetually outraged, if everything makes you mad, if breath mint, candy mint tastes great, less filling, Nintendo, Sega, if someone's on the other side of the way you think and their opinion just infuriates you, and you're like that with so many things, then you're really going to end up tiring yourself out and wasting a lot of the best days of your life on BS instead of just going, you know what, it's not that big of a deal. Let's just, you know what, you think it tastes great. I think it's less filling. It ain't worth fighting about. There's no reason to get angry. Let's just have a day. Let's just let it go. Let it go. It's so dumb that there's so many people get crazy like that. It's just, ugh. I see it all the time on both sides. And and you're right. There's drama everywhere. And if I really wanted to stick my toe in drama, I would. It's not hard to do, but I try to stay above it. I just don't. And I'm sure my day is coming. I'm sure there's going to be a day and time where I am in drama for certain, because that's just how the way the internet is. But as of right now, I just who cares? Stay out of it. I have my opinions. You have your opinions. As long as you're hurting me and I'm not hurting you, doesn't really matter.
But you hurt my feelings. You hurt my feelings, Enigma.
Oh God, feeling.
I I just get tired of what the point the thing that content creation has become like almost everything else that we didn't think it would, in a sense. It's become the place of politicalness. It's become the place of I'm right, you're wrongness, and all this sort of stuff. I don't care because I'm on a so how here's how to describe it, right? So you don't so it's like a time clock. You remember when you had like the old drop cards for like time
Mhm.
clock and put imprint, either punch out or imprint, whatever. But when I used to work at a nonprofit organization, they would have one, and it would be like it would punch out the date, but it would also put like the time down in like the dot matrix sort of printout.
Mhm.
Oh, thank you. Uh, Oh, come on. Oh, hold on, hold on. I'm gonna have to refresh my page for a bit. I'll be right back. Hold on.
He'll be right back
I'm
after
back.
these messages.
Yeah, I was like, why is nothing working? I was like, oh, they must have done an update, so I have to refresh. Um, but what was my thought at again? Um, and then I was talking about the weather and how the aliens are doing it. Um, but I've only got so much limited time with all this stuff, and I'd rather be able to. I'd rather take up the opportunity to get to talk to whoever I can because, oh, albeit there were some people where it was like it was like trying to draw water from stone. But the point is that shouldn't stop people from having conversations because at the end of the day, people who are challenging to have a conversation with sharpen the stone.
Mm.
Oh, you know what? That's right. I forgot. I was trying to do the combination. I'll, so when I was trying to do that time card thing, I was trying to do an analogy where uh, you as an individual don't really know when you clocked in. I mean, there's a birth date and all that stuff. You don't really know when don't have a good day of when you clocked in, but you won't know when you'll clock out.
It's true.
You don't know when you clock out. And so to see all this silliness that's on the internet, again, it comes with the whole. I really do believe that monetization kind of leads itself to have those things because YouTube, when I first started out, Geeks with Cash. Oh yeah, yeah, I had Geek Story 9. He was pretty cool. Um, but monetization, for all it's worth, feels like it feels like an adverse to uh, content creation in itself. Yes, there's a benefit in having it. Yes, people can make a living on it, business out of it, whatever. But my thing is that it creates an incentive to try to get more of that money, right? Like you have to feed the algorithm, you have to do all these things, all this stuff. The point of the matter is, though, is that in the early days of YouTube, there was no monetization. It was just people uploaded because they wanted to be seen, which I mean
Mhm.
is own itself an incentive, but there wasn't any money involved other than maybe like ads for like the service and stuff because it costs a lot to run a video hosting site. Let's just put that right down.
Oh yeah.
But the problem of it is it lends itself to that issue of clickbait and all that sort of thing or whatever. And I get it, you play to the system or whatnot, but I'm just like, what does that mean to making content at all, right?
I think it also brings forth jealousy between people,
Mm,
and you know, I'm envious. Okay, I have friends. One of my friends is streaming right now, and she has more subs this month than I've had in 3 years. This
right.
month alone. Am I am I envious of her?
Um,
Yeah. Do I wish I had that? Yeah. Am
mm,
I going to let that poison the way I feel about her? Absolutely not. And that's something that, especially with people my age, I think, is that we seem to have this uh, mentality as to, and I get why, as to
mm,
keeping people out of the space, and they want to make sure that it's the space. And when you look at some of the bigger creators that are out there who have uh, other side hustles, doing
Yeah.
things on certain websites and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
People will go, "Oh, I could do that if she wasn't around," and I'm going, I don't think so. Now, the friend I'm talking about doesn't have a website like that. But what I'm saying
Yeah.
is that there are those out there that have them, and it's
Yeah.
like, do I really want that audience? No,
Yeah.
they're not going to get what they're looking for out of me. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
So it's I look at envy as a way to make myself better, as
Mhm.
opposed to going, I'm going to dislike this person because they're much more successful at doing what I'm doing. Instead,
Yeah.
I want to look at what they're doing and try to improve what I'm doing so I can be successful as well.
Yeah. Well, and then there's also the other factor too. It's like where you're trying to sell merch and stuff. Like I get it, right? If you're doing this as a business, you've got
Mhm.
to upkeep so you can pay for whoever. My thing is, you know, that, and of course that is another stream of revenue too. So I get that, but it's like, I even though I'm part of a creator program on Rumble, and I'm also part of a partner program of a company called Proton, I didn't get into those things for money. First off, I got into, well, the first one I just got into trying to see if I could get into it, and if requirements change or whatever, I'm probably screwed and may not be in it. But it's a bonus for me. It's not like if I get out of it, it's not like I won't grow.
Mhm.
I grew without it. I can grow, with or without it. Um, but with the Proton one, I joined. I entered in for it because it was like, usually when they're looking for like an affiliate or whatever, those kind of programs and whatnot, usually looking for someone with big numbers. You're gonna have all that stuff, whatever. The attention and whatnot. I'm like, I don't know how to market or sell. I don't really know. Um, I don't really have the big numbers, whatever. Even some of the questions they asked, I was like, like what's your like total viewer numbers, what? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, no, I'm not paying for that. Um, but it's sort of just like I just entered in, and and so I was just, they said they gave back to me, like I did it over the weekend. They said I'll get back to like 24, 40 hours. You'll find out whether you'll get an answer or not. I was like, okay, I'll just enter in. Probably won't get anything, and then and then the next day, not even like 24 hours or so after the fact, it's like, hey, you're in. It's like I had to
Must be
laugh.
nice.
I had to laugh to myself because it was like, wait, you want me into your? I mean, I know I entered in, but you're letting me in. I was like, we'll see how long this one lasts. Because I don't know how I'm going to do, but I use the product, um, of it. So, but if no one's heard of Proton, they do like Proton Mail, Proton VPN, all that stuff.
Mhm.
Worth looking into. But again, I'm not a marketer. I'm not a seller. I don't really. I mean, the most thing I sold back in the day was like, there was a fundraiser, and I would sell like boxes of chocolate bars. That was it. Like
Mhm.
I would like so a family member I knew was like, if you could sell this X amount of chocolate bars, they'll take me to Red Lobster. And I'm like, sure.
Red Lobster, sure. I can get the Admiral's Feast. I'm all about that.
Hey,
God damn.
yeah, oh yeah, definitely. And I did. Of course, because of all the excitement and stuff, I don't think that played well with me getting the food I earned. So it was like, ugh. It was not a fun day because I wasn't feeling good at a certain point. So, um, but I mean, I'm just doing it to see if I can do it, and whether they'll keep me in it, I don't know. But I didn't join it for the money. And again, that's sort of one of those things too, is where like some people have mentioned of like selling, doing like a merch store. I'm like, I don't know what I would sell. I mean, probably maybe like a hat or something, but I really just not in it for that. I mean, if you want to buy one of these hats, more power to you. I'll let you.
I don't
Um,
know anything about having a merch store.
ah, wow, bravo,
Yeah.
bravo. That was clean marketing right there. Just like, oh, look at this, and just clean right through it, just like on someone else. That
Oh,
was
I had my girlfriend is really big into marketing. She's a marketing wizard or diva, marketing witch, whatever you want to call it.
yeah,
She's really good, and she helps me a lot with you know designing my merch that I've got here and things like that. She'll give me her opinions and things like that. And I got another friend who lives down in Dallas that when back in 2012, he was trying to start a gaming blog, and I met him through another friend that I used to work with.
Right.
And we hit it off as friends, and he's still a friend of mine to this day. And he messages me all the time and goes, "Dude, the game you're playing only has 76 people watching it right now on Twitch overall. You need to play something else." and it's like, but I'm having fun. And but it's I have people telling me and trying to help me along the way, and I opened up a merch store because basically Tomby told me, "Hey, you need to get one up." So here I am. I have one, and it's all just T-shirts and water bottles and things like that. Question mark jersey that I'm wearing. It's awesome. I designed it myself.
Nice.
But overall, it's I worked in retail sales for a while. I know how to sell some things, but at the same time, I don't want to seem like I'm a panhandler either. I want people to buy things or support me because they want to do it because I'm doing a good job, not because I have my hat out saying I need $1.
You should make a hat that says "I need $1."
I need $1. But that's just how I am. Is I want people to support because that I'm doing a good job or because they like what I'm doing, as opposed to me say I don't want to be like some of these streamers out there. I won't mention any DSP that basically beg and cry and go on rants because they don't have they don't get as many donations or as many sales or as many subs or as many bits or whatever in a stream or whatever. It's just, you know what I mean? Yeah. If people want to support me, I welcome it. I would love it. I want to be successful. That's my entire thing is when people say, "What do you want?" I say, I want to be successful. I don't want to be the biggest thing on the planet. I don't want I don't think I'm better than anybody else. I'm very humble. When people do I want to, I just want to be successful. That's all I want to do. And I want to entertain. I want to make people happy. I want to make people laugh. I want them to be able to come into my channel and sit down and go and just turn and forget about what's going on in the world for an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours, however long they're there, and just have a good time with me, playing a game and telling stories and doing stupid voices that I do. And you know what I mean? Just that kind of thing. And do I still show my merch store a little bit? Yeah, I mention it as I'm leaving. I mention it when I start, that kind of thing. But I don't sit there and go every 10 minutes. I know my bot does it, but but every 10 minutes I don't go, hey, go to my store. Go to my store. So that's just how I am. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just some people are better at it than I am, obviously.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm going right there with you on better than that. But yeah, it's just for me, it's like again, the many content creators I follow and stuff is they sell stuff here and there, and again, if you run it as a business, sure. But for me, it's just so like what does content creation become when it's nothing more than something to sell?
That's
right.
True.
What does in all the platforms, right? This is not just about one platform. This is all the platforms that offer monetization and many different ways of how to get monetization. What at the end of it all does content creation become?
Relationships. And that is the problem that we're going to have that especially in gaming right now with the gaming media, they're thriving right now is they don't have the grip on the gaming media is the voice of the companies and the corporations. They're not the voice of the gamers. Yeah. There was a point in time they were, but now it's all about keeping the access is what they need to be good. They need to play ball or they won't get their free stuff or they won't get the free console. They won't get the early game, that kind of stuff. And what has happened is that we've had kind of a role reversal where no one's going to Kotaku or IGN or those places to get news anymore. Yeah. They're going on YouTube and watching Angry Joe because they know Angry Joe is not going to agree with them or disagree with them about whatever. He's going to be there and give you his honest opinion about things. So it's all about relationships. It's about being able to come to a channel or go to someone who says they're doing a review and go, you know what? I know they're going to tell me what it's like. And do they get free stuff too? Yeah, the bigger ones probably do. But it just comes down to that. I think that the media overall has dug itself into this grave where no one trusts them anymore when it comes to gaming reviews or op-ed pieces or anything like that. So instead, they go on YouTube, they come to Rumble, they go to Twitter or whatever, and they find their news that way. And they'll watch reviews or they'll watch gameplay of a game for someone that they like watching. And from there, they make their decisions on what they're going to do. That's
Yeah.
me. That's what it is.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't. For me personally, I wouldn't say no one, because there are people still viewing these places. I mean, yes, Vice is gone and all that sort of stuff, but there are people still viewing some of these places because, saying, for me, and this is another thing I've learned in the content creation, is when people say no one, nobody, nothing, they're really putting themselves at a disadvantage because they are doing a form of hyperbole or
Right.
hyperbole.
Hyperbole. You're
Hyperbole.
100% right. And you know what? I really hate it when I say that, because I'll say nobody goes, and it's just like, yeah, people still go.
Yeah.
So I should have caught myself doing that. But you're exactly correct. Yeah, there are people that still go. But
Yeah.
I used to go to Kotaku 5, 6, 7, 8 times a day for the latest news.
Yeah.
And now I don't go. There's no reason to go.
Yeah.
So they've done it to themselves. That's the whole thing, is that they brought these people in who don't give a rat's ass about the industry. They don't care about the games that they're playing. They don't care about anything except putting their message out there. And when they do that, a lot of people smell it, a lot of people see it, and they go somewhere else.
Yeah, and especially with technology getting better and better, I mean, the individual is going to gain more power, especially with the advent of AI, regardless of whether people agree with it or not. With the emergence of new technologies or whatnot, at the end of the day, the individual is going to have more power than a corporate company, and then maybe not all corporate companies, right? Like there's going to be some things like clothing and stuff, those kind of things will have their own area, but we're talking about like journalism, whatnot. If you have a laptop or a phone, and you have the ability to get some program or whatever, you will have as much ability to be independent as they were 20 years ago, right? Because I think the first iPhone didn't come out until I think the first type phone probably didn't come out till like the late 2000s. But at the end of the day, though, we are at a precipice, or even beyond that, actually, where the individual has more tools at their disposal that those who are in big companies, all they're going to be able to do is to either chop down who they have and maybe go the way of the AI, or just go away totally, because the individual has more, um, to some degree, has a bit more power than journalists, gaming journalists or journalists in general had 10 to 20 years ago. Hey, Slutty Pie, how are you? Because you see it, right? You've seen it from Vice. You see them. Obviously part of it is they did that whole ordeal of whether it be woke or whatever. I don't care. And they weren't getting enough money. The biggest thing, right? This is the biggest thing I have issue with. Yeah, I get it, right? You can say, oh yeah, Nintendo overcharging, Xbox overcharging. Guess what? If they don't get any money, that overcharge won't matter, right? Hey, guess what? That new Xbox costs $700. Oh, look, here's my wallet. Bye. Bye.
Exactly correct. And what scares these corporations to death is they have media in their hip pocket. Okay.
Yeah.
So like IGN is in the hip pocket of Sony and Microsoft and Nintendo. Whatever. If Miyamoto walked into IGN's office right now and said, "Hey, everybody," and just turned over and farted right in front of them, then every one of them would come over there and say, "Mr. Miyamoto, this smells so good." That's what they would do. And they know that. That's the whole thing. So not having control of the message is what really disturbs these corporations, especially in entertainment. They don't have the control over you or me or thousands of content creators out there who are going to say this sucks or this doesn't suck, and that's what really scares them, is they really want that control. They need that control. And the truth is, because of it, is how they've lost the media has lost, especially in entertainment, has lost the audience. That no one, as I said, no one again. I mean, how many people actually read movie reviews before they go see a movie?
I haven't.
I don't either.
Usually it's word. It's either word of mouth or how well the trailer does, right?
Mhm.
Or another one would be, okay, so there's not any movie out. What are the movies out there? And then you kind of like maybe, right?
Right.
Maybe sort of thing. Hey, Steve. But there's a few different ways of movie reviews are sort of. I've seen a lot of people use movie reviews like Rotten Tomatoes and stuff to be sort of judger of, is this movie good or not, right? You see box office, right?
Mhm.
Box office judging of if this movie is good or not. A great example, right? The Minecraft movie. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but
I
people,
have not, but I
people,
know it made a whole ton of money.
yeah, they might as well. But the point of the matter is that the movie has done well box office, yet the story for many is low,
Mm-hmm.
right? I went to go see this movie called The Better Man. And The Better Man is about sort of life story biopic of English musical singer Robbie Williams, and it sort of kind of goes. Now there's different parts of it, whatever. He's portrayed by a CGI monkey and all this stuff. But for me, it was a great movie. It just didn't do well because one, the singer artist is not well known in the U.S. Some people had complained about the CGI monkey thing and all this sort of stuff. But for me, the movie was great, but it didn't do well in the box office. So the question of it becomes for like a movie thing is like, what is the best judge of what is a successful movie and what is a bad, poor movie, right? Because if we want to go even further than that, we've got Willy Wonka. I'm sure you've seen Willy Wonka, right? Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh yeah, of course. I grew up with that movie. Absolutely.
Was it
Didn't do well. Didn't do
Yeah.
well in theaters, but now it's a cult classic.
Yeah.
And kids my age, I mean, we grew up watching it. We can sing the songs. That I watched the Wonka movie they released a couple years ago,
Yeah.
and I looked at my girlfriend about halfway through it, and I said, "This just makes me want to watch the original one because the music here sucks, and I want to watch the other one." So, but
Yeah.
I think I like what you're getting at, and I think what it comes down to is success comes by, because you're talking about the idea of a cult classic where something does really poorly in theaters, but then
Yes.
people see it on home video. A great example of that was the original Austin Powers movie.
Yeah.
Is that Austin Powers did crap in the theaters. No one went
Yeah.
to see it. Well, okay, there I did it again. Few people went to see it. But when it came out on home video,
Yeah.
it did gangbusters. People went out and rented it, and it was making a whole ton of money for every video store on the planet. Back when we used to rent video at go to
Yeah.
video. So they greenlit a second movie, and the second movie did gangbusters in theaters.
Yeah.
It had a great marketing campaign. It was a funny movie that was people remember it. So I think if you're talking about making something successful, it has to come down to pleasing a majority of your target audience or making something successful monetarily, something like that. You can look at, like you said, the movie Better Man didn't make hardly any money because not a lot of people, but you liked it quite a bit.
Yeah.
That's probably gonna be the kind of movie that here in, let's just say 4, 5, 6 years, people are going to go back and go, "Hey, that's a pretty good film."
Yeah.
And then maybe, we'll see that go up. And I think that's what makes something successful is joy. And the thing is that joy there in gaming, there's something called the 48-hour window. Okay. The 48-hour window is that a game sells better, it's best most of the time. Not all the time. Every once in a while, there's like a Grand Theft Auto 3 out there where it sells better in the first 48 hours of its launch than it will for the rest of it of the time that it's out.
Wow.
So you sell something in the first 48 hours, and then that's where it's going to be. If that audience likes what you have and likes what you have to offer, and you're making money off of it, why wouldn't you do more of it? Why wouldn't you bring out more of it? Why wouldn't you expand upon that?
Yeah.
But there are other times you see games come out and they have these huge budgets, and your audience is telling you, no,
Yeah.
we don't want this.
Yeah.
There are very recent examples of this.
The
Yes,
Suicide Squad.
Ubisoft.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Ubisoft.
Yeah.
And they don't listen. And so when something comes out and it does pretty poorly,
Mhm.
they go, well, what did we do wrong? Well, the first problem you did was you didn't listen to your bloody audience. But I think, and that's the thing about success is it's not necessarily something that you really have to, there's really no, I don't think, like, definition of what
Yeah.
a successful movie or game or television show or record
Yeah.
actually is, because it comes in different things for different
Different people. Yeah.
different things.
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto 3 is a great example of that. Grand Theft Auto 3 was coming out. Rockstar was like, this is going to be a game. This is going to be a game. This is going to be a game. And everyone was like, the first two did crap. What's that? Well, the game came out and blew the doors off everything.
Yeah.
And then it sold like crazy.
Yeah.
So when they bring something out that does well, and they go, okay, and then they did Vice City, and then they did all these different things.
Mhm.
So it's listening to your audience, it's providing what they want, and it's also, not insulting your audience, quite frankly.
Yeah. Well, and their Sonic movie was marketing, outrage marketing. Well, that too, but I mean they did change it, so there was that.
They
But
listened.
yeah, it's one of those things where many movies are not Oscar worthy, whatever you want to call it. But I mean they're good, dumb, fun movies, and that's what you want. You want button seats. That's the ultimate goal of every movie is button seats. But how do you do that, right? Like, I mean, you could either do something that's like, oh hum, whatever. But for me, it's like a lot of different people, especially do movie reviews or TV show reviews or game reviews or whatever, where success is almost all over the place because they're giving their perspective of what what their definition of success is, whether it be a game, a movie, or whatever. And for me, like you were saying, it's varied. It's too varied for me to put down. Okay, so is it the box office that makes it a success, or is it a is it because a lot of people enjoyed it success, but it didn't make a lot of money? There's all those different compartments of, and again, the whole the field of content creation is filled with all sorts of people who create on that remark of box office defines success, or one thing defines success, or a lot of people who enjoyed it define success. It's so varied that the definition, like you said, itself is so. But it's almost bad to use the word success when the definition itself does not fit what people are trying to put out there. Basically,
But
it's
probably
just,
because successful has a different meaning to everybody depending on what it is.
yeah,
Let's just, if we're talking about a movie, if you spend $20 million to make a movie
yeah,
and the movie does $500 million in the theaters,
yeah,
that sounds like a success, right?
uh,
And they would probably greenlight a sequel. Well,
yeah,
what if the movie wasn't that great and people saw it for the second or third time? They're like, you know what? Maybe not so much. And then they do a sequel and they say, okay, well, we did $20 million budget. Let's bump that up to $100 million. And then we'll do all this cool stuff. And then the sequel comes out and it does half, it does go $40-50 million in theaters. Then there's a $40-50 million loss. Just look at Marvel. Marvel's been doing, the last couple of Marvel movies they did before Endgame, $1 billion. Those were successful films, right? Well, Captain Marvel was one of them.
yeah,
Made $1 billion. Here comes the sequel. What did the sequel do?
not very much.
Didn't make back anything. Does that mean it wasn't successful? Probably not. That's because you spent too much money on it.
Yeah.
But if later on word of mouth comes by, and I've always said this about movies in particular, and I don't know if anyone agrees with me about this, especially now because we're starting to push away physical media, which I hate. I've said I hate it. Movie companies didn't really make a whole lot of cash off of most of their films in the theaters.
Right.
They made money off of re-releasing their movies on VHS and DVD and Blu-ray and 4K and all that. Look at how many editions of freaking Evil Dead are out there on DVD alone. There's what, 6, 7, 8? And every time they release one, there's a whole ton of people that line up to get it, and they made their money off of that movie decades ago. So
Yeah.
everything that they do on that is just gravy, pure gravy.
Yeah.
And so I would say Evil Dead is successful.
Mm.
I would now if they, I know they did a second one and all that, but if they did something now where they were going to bring it out on various merch as well, but it's again it's different for depending on what everyone wants because
Yeah.
you can find success in anything.
Yeah.
Today I streamed and I had this morning I think I had 27 people.
Yeah.
To me that's successful.
Huh.
Now if you want to go talk to some of the other ones, you want to go talk to Ninja and look at him. If he had 27 people, he would say, "Whoa, what the hell's wrong? What did I do wrong? Was I naked? What happened?" So success is different, has a different meaning to different people depending on what it is.
Yeah.
And it's like beauty. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. There's no steadfast way of looking at it. It's just it is what it is, and it's going to be different for whatever was spent, whatever was invested, whatever is viewed, whatever the goal was. That kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, definitely with that. But I could say that with that, I think we can successfully say it's the top of the hour again.
There is.
It is the top of the hour, and of course, so we're gonna start winding it down because I do work in the morning and I have to set up for tomorrow's stream. So the fun of that, right there. But before we get, most Star Wars figures and merch are abandoned in shops these days. I wouldn't misbelieve it. He says, I hear most of the Star Wars figure merch are abandoned in shops these days.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah,
The worst thing you can have for a legacy franchise is apathy. And people like me, who I grew up, Star Wars was my very first fandom. Now, I was born in 1976. Star Wars was 1977. It hit me right in the freaking face.
Yeah.
I had action figures. I went dressed as Darth Vader for Halloween 3 years in a row, and I had all these toys, and I would buy all the games and read books and all this sort of stuff. And now I haven't watched anything since in 5 or 6 years from Star Wars. I haven't read any of the books. I think I bought I did buy the Jedi Survivor game, but I'm apathetic. And to me, when you have a legacy franchise like that, the worst thing you can have is apathy.
Yeah.
So, and I know a lot of people that are big Star Wars fans are apathetic. They're not rage baiters or not, they're not going on YouTube and ranting and raving. They just go, you know what? I'm good.
Yeah. Yep. But regardless, it's just, it's a mess of sorts, and dear Lord, dear Lord, for the people who can handle that.
I should stop talking about it because we could go another 3 hours of me ranting about that.
Hour 25.
Yeah, that's a filibuster and a half right there.
And then I said to her right there, young lady, you better pick up that quarter or it's gonna fall over. And
boy, I say, boy, get me some French fried taters so we can continue talking about this.
Foghorn Leghorn, everyone. But anyway, so we're gonna start winding it down. But before we do that, we're gonna do a few things before we go. So the first thing, of course, is promoting ourselves, and obviously what we did the first hour. So of course, all of Enygma's links link thing is down below. But I'm gonna let him sell himself like the man he is. Not like that though. This is not that kind of show. But
I am not the sequel to Deuce Bigelow, Male Gigolo.
That'd be number 3 because there were 2.
Oh, there were.
Yeah,
well,
I believe there.
Apparently, the joy of the second one missed me after the nirvana of the first one. So, you can find me on all social media platforms at Evil Enygma. I'm on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube. I'm on Kick, although I don't stream there anymore. I'm on Rumble at Evil Enygma. I'm going to start streaming there as soon as I figure that part out. I have a merch store over in Fourth Wall, as we were joking about earlier. I stream 5 days a week, 7 hours a day. Right now, I'm streaming the Lunar Remaster. I'm an old school gamer. I grew up with gaming in my hand. I love playing old games like that. And the Lunar Remaster I started this morning. I'm really enjoying that.
Yeah.
and yeah, it's just a lot of fun. And I release videos every weekend where I show off something in my huge collection of video game and pop culture crap that I have here that I've collected over the last 40 years. So I really enjoy doing it, and I hope that you guys will. I'm trying to become monetized on YouTube by the end of the year. I need a lot of help with that. I'm at 152 subscribers on YouTube, but I need about 348 more. But I'm having a good time doing it, and everyone's welcome to my channel. I'm absolutely everyone's welcome there. You want to talk to me about anything, I'll do it. Just be respectful. I'm respectful to everybody, and I'd love to see you guys. I really would. Help me help you.
Well, you may not. You may find some people who will and some people who won't because of all the YouTube shenanigans. So
Oh, there's
there's that.
everywhere. I've had trolls before come into my channel, and
Yeah. Well,
one of
not
them.
just
Go ahead. Sorry.
no. I wasn't saying. Oh, thank you for that. There you go. And I wasn't saying trolls. I was mentioning like the stories of YouTube and how they treat some of the creators and whatnot. Some of the
Oh
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, we won't hash that open again.
No.
We already talked about that.
Some wounds are better left closed with
Yes.
crazy glue. The space doesn't carry. I keep forgetting. Oh, okay. No, you're fine. You're fine. But yes, like I said, his stuff is down below. Go to that link and check his stuff. And if he's worth a follow, why not? Right? If he's worth a follow, why not? His you click on this. I think your Rumble's in there too. I just followed that over there as well.
Cool.
Because
Thank you.
once you're able to, again, Tomby, so I'm like that's just a straight shooter right there.
Mhm.
But once you figure that out, you're already monetized anyway. So there you go.
Cool.
Dub. Oh,
Oh
thank you. Look,
crap.
that's yeah, thank you. That's my oh no, refresh it. You got it. Just refresh, you'll be fine. Yep, he'll be back. But while he's doing that, again, the link down below, make disrespect great again. Well, if you get too disrespectful, there you go. All right, there he's back now.
Right.
The Angels decided to let him come on screen one more time. But
Or the devils.
oh, sure, goodness. But anyway, for my end of things, whether you're on the Rumble side or the YouTube side, because I do stream to both, if you wouldn't mind leaving a like, sharing the content, leaving a comment, or follow, anything that helps with the engagement factor is much appreciated. Because at the end of the day, not only does it help with being seen more, like all content creators want to be, it also helps with having other people on, like Enygma, like Tomby, like. Like who else was in my like Gina, like Kaiju, and like so many others. At the end of the day, I've done this thing with just trying to reach across the way to talk to people about whatever. Because at the end of the day, I really do think free flowing conversations have a power to themselves that I think people have forgotten. And while there are some people who are anxiety, fearful, or whatever, at the end of the day, once you start getting into it, it could be hard to get out of it because you'll just want to keep going. So, food for thought on that. Again, any help with engagement on either end is much appreciated. Of course, I have a link down below. I'll take you to all my places. I have a Twitter X, I have an email, I have a Discord thing, but it's mostly just for DMing because I don't do the server stuff. I've spent my mental bandwidth as it is because I do have a full-time job. So there's that. But anyway, engagement factor and link down below. And of course, tomorrow at speaking of Tommy, tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern, I will be doing my Pay It Forward stream, the 58th Pay It Forward stream, where I go showcasing the a Rumble side live stream. So what I do is I go to the live stream section, all sorts of live streams, and I kind of go there, spread a little love, do some donos as well, and just kind of um, just kind of support the arena because I could do more on the Rumble side than I can on YouTube. One of being like the rants on YouTube, you have to pay to have a certain amount of characters, right? Like $2 or $5 gets you 50 characters, and then 10, and so forth and so on. Um, uh, are that, and then but on Rumble, whether it be $1 to $500, you get the same amount of characters. It's like 200 characters it doesn't really matter. So you could do more with a lot less on Rumble, and that's why I do that. Because I've been on the YouTube side, and I'll get poor way quicker than I would on the Rumble side. Link does a word trying to fix it. Oh, okay, copying it too. Okay, just let me know. But yes, 7 p.m. Eastern with Tomby, who's joining me for that. So if you want to see more or less Tomby, join me with that. That'll be at 7 p.m. Eastern. And of course, the one thing Enigma. Okay, there you go. He was trying to figure that one out.
Doesn't that work?
I think there was something was used trying to figure out something like that.
Okay.
But yeah. But there was one more thing I forgot to do. Again, as I mentioned earlier, I am part of a partner program with where do you put it at? I know there's a link in here. Where did you put it? Or where is it at? Here we go. So I am part of the partner program on Proton, and there was a post they made a while back on Twitter X and all this stuff, and I said, well, why not? I've already told that spiel before. But anyway, what is Proton? Well, Proton is a company that they're all about privacy and security. Their HQ is in Switzerland, but has the highest privacy laws around, as far as I know. And again, like I said, I'm not a good seller or marketer. I just use this product and I promote it because there are a lot of people who are more about privacy and security, and that's what they try to work on. So one of the things that they do is that with Proton Mail is that they allow you to use an alias email. So instead of going to a website like Brownie Snacks or something like that and have to give them your actual email, you can actually use an alias email that will redirect back to your actual email on Proton, and a whole bunch of stuff. Head of Doom, yes, we'll get there. But another thing too is that they also do pretty well on scammers and spammers, right? You get those spam emails or whatever. A lot of people, billions and billions of dollars are lost to scammers because whatever. And it's a sad fate when that happens, especially older people. Older people get those robocalls or their emails or whatever. But with Proton, you don't have to worry about that too much. And even if you get an email like that, they will tell you if it might be a possible spamming or phishing or whatnot. And that helps too. And another part of it is that they, when you get a demo item or something like that, like a coupon or something from a company, they send you an email. But Proton, they clean out the trackers that some of those companies put in an email. It was something I had to look up, and even I still don't understand it very well. But basically, they'll clean those trackers out to where not even the company will know if you open it or not, and help and stop sending that. So anyway, you can go to that link down below or in the chat. It will take you there. They offer a 30-day free thing. If you don't like it, that's fine. Guess what? You know what? You didn't spend any money. They also have an ability to have a free account with Proton. Look, all I'm saying is I use this product. I promote it because of that. I sort of doing like the Billy Mays, really, where he would say, the OxyClean guy. He said, I wouldn't promote a product I didn't use. So I use Proton Email. I probe because people are privacy and security and all that stuff. So even if you don't try it, at least thank you for letting me do my spiel on trying to direct over. Because again, I believe in what they're doing, and they're updating stuff and all that over time. It's pretty great to check out, even if you don't sign up for anything. Again, you just check out that link. They do like a 30-day free thing. So check it out. If not, I thank you for listening to me. And of course, the last thing I do with my guest is a thing I call questions from the hat. So what happens is that I bought a hat from Rumble and I put a bunch of questions into it. And so what happens is that you, my guest, get 2 freebie questions. So obviously, I'm not monetized on YouTube. So sorry, YouTube side, just not going to happen. But if you're on the Rumble side, guess what? If you want to see more than those 2 questions pulled out of the hat, you have to give a Rumble rep for it. Doesn't You could be a $1, you could be a $500, doesn't matter which one. It just has to be a rant to get another question out. So first, I'm gonna start with the first question.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what would be a get my hands in there. Let's see. I got one. Here's the first question, and we'll see what it says. It says, here easy one. Do you prefer the beach or the mountains?
I like beaches for vacations because to me, vacation is the smell of salt water and having sand between my toes.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the water because the water is very therapeutic. But I can't deny that the mountains are pretty nice too. I would probably say the beach though, just simply because water to me is very therapeutic. Listening to it
Yeah.
helps me sleep. So that's probably what I would say on that one. Not the seagulls. The water.
Get away.
Last year, my girlfriend and I in September went up to this lake house in Wisconsin. I live outside of Chicago, for those who don't know.
Right.
And we were sitting on. It was on this lake house. It was an Airbnb, and I just went out on the dock. We didn't even go out anywhere, and I just took off my shoes and dangled them in the water, and read the entire. And it was just so nice and so relaxing. So, yeah, probably the beach.
Yeah, I'm in Indiana, so I would visit Chicago for the Science and Industry Museum
Very cool.
because I enjoyed going there. It's changed over time, sure, it's changed over the years, but I enjoy going to it. Well, I haven't been there in a while though, money. But yeah.
They still got the submarine.
Oh, they have the plane in it too.
I don't remember the plane, but I know they have the submarine. Last time I was there, I did the submarine.
Yeah, no, that's it's been a while, but I do hope to go back sometime. Here we go. This one might be challenging for you, so let's see how this goes. If aliens landed and demanded one person to represent Earth, who would you nominate?
The entire planet?
Mm-hmm. They demanded you to pick someone to represent. Who you picking?
See, I have two answers, I think, because one of them does that mean we're gonna get rid of this person? Because if that's the case, no.
Represent.
Represent the human race.
Yes.
Someone that is kind and someone that would put the best of all of us. That is a very hard question. Because there's the Dalai Lama. Although I don't think he would survive it, but just and we just lost a pope, so you can't say the pope.
Oh.
I damn sure wouldn't say any political leader.
Mm-hmm.
Morgan Freeman.
Well, that's be a good choice.
Yeah, I'd go Morgan Freeman.
He'll be
he's got a very relaxing voice.
Yes.
And he's very intelligent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would, and he was God. He played God at one point. So there you go.
That's true. Funny story before we go. My dad loved audiobooks when he was working before he retired, and I for Christmas one year I went to the Barnes and Noble and was looking for him a new audiobook, and one of the things I saw was this big box and it said the Bible read by James Earl Jones.
Ooh.
And I went, okay, that makes sense because if there's a voice of God, it's James Earl Jones. And I was telling that to a friend of mine, and they said, no, it's Morgan Freeman. And I said, no, it's James Earl Jones. And then we came to the decision, Old Testament is James Earl Jones, New Testament is Morgan Freeman.
There you
go.
go.
I was like, yeah, that'll work.
That'll work.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised that even happened. They've had other celebrities. I think Jim Caviezel did one part, but anyway, yeah, that's just funny to know. But anyway, that is the of course end of the show. Oh goodness. Anyway, that is the end of the show, and of course, I want to thank all of you for coming by again tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern with Tomby for the 58th Pay It Forward stream. I hope you'll all be there, and of course, I want to thank my guest Enygma It's evil Enigma, but I'll just say Enigma anyway.
It's Enigma. I prefer Enigma. If I become a Twitch partner, it's going to go Enigma.
Yeah, he's not that evil anyway. But but yes, no, I thank you for coming on. Of course, you're always welcome to come back because there's always more to talk about. It's just silly.
Thanks for having me. Whenever you want to talk, just let me know, and we'll set something up.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. But anyway, and you're welcome, Slidey Pie. You're welcome. But anyway, so I end the show. Of course, as you saw a video in the beginning, but I do play one at the end by the same uh, artist of sorts. I play a song, "One Day with You" by Pogo. Again, see you all tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern for the 58th Pay It Forward stream with Tomby at The Real Tomby. Hope to see you all there. If not, I enjoyed you being here as well. Have a great night, everyone, and I will see you next time. Bye.
Thanks, guys.